Welcome. On today's show, the City of Peterborough, Ontario has a new addition to its public art collection. Celebrated Indigenous artist Vanessa Dion Fletcher will tell us all about her piece, Resonant Harmony. And polar vortex maybe have you a little shivery, maybe teeth chattering, while Chef Mary Mammoliti has the coziest comfort food ideas for you. That'll warm you right up, won't it? Now, with all the talking on our show, as usual, it gets breezy in here.
This is Kelly and Company.
We always love having conversations with you, so follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Kelly & Co. AMI. Kelly MacDonald here, host of the program, and we always enjoy settling in with you, having these great conversations. Nazreen Abdel-Majid with us throughout the show, so she'll be popping in a little while, and we will carry on all sorts of conversations as our guests file through. We're going to have some really cool conversations. First of all, I'm going to welcome in Amy Amantea. She's stopping in for our normal arts chat today, but Amy, as usual, bringing something to the show to kind of puzzle me, I must say. I mean, jalapeno peppers, cannolis, and saffron. I mean, what the heck could these things all have in common? But it says so right here. And Amy, you got to tell me, how does this relate to arts and culture?
Well, that's a darn good question, Kelly. Thanks for posing it. I mean, we know arts as arts, and culture is a part of that. It can be a whole bunch of different things, but it can kind of just be the things that we do in our local spaces, in our local towns, that become ritualistic. And that's where this fits into. So cannolis, jalapeno peppers, and saffron. What do these things have in common? Well, I'll give you 3 hints, but I don't think you'll get it. But I'll give you 3 hints.
Okay.
180 flavors, 124 venues, and 81 Choco Stars.
I was going to say a bakery or an ice cream place, but I don't know if I could tell you where. I mean, ice cream, let me think here. It's the saffron that's kind of making me, I believe all of that could definitely be flavors of ice cream, but bakery, I could see cannolis, cream, flavors of cannoli. I don't know. I think I'm in the ballpark. I'll bet money I am.
Close.
Wow.
You're pretty close, Kelly. Actually, if it was ice cream, there is actually a place here in Vancouver on Venables that has like 208 different flavors of ice cream. One of them is durian. I digress.
Yeah.
Yes, this is actually the 15th annual Vancouver Hot Chocolate Festival. Hot Chocolate Festival. So you were talking about it being breezy and chilly and comfort food. Hot Chocolate Festival, which is running now through February the 14th. So I wanted to share with you a couple of hot chocolate inventions, shall we say, creations, and see if you would yay or nay them. Because there's something for everybody. There's gluten-free, there's dairy-free, there's vegan, there's sugar-free. So here's a couple of tasters for you. You tell me what you think about them.
Okay.
So this one is called the Milano Turan, and it says it's a luxurious fusion of flavors. This hot chocolate pairs the rich floral notes of Iranian saffron with the creamy smoothness of Belgian white chocolate. Each sip offers a blend of sweet and aromatic flavors. It's served with a cannoli, which is made in-house and piped with pistachio whipped cream. Yay or nay?
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Yay on this. You can't go wrong. The cannoli really adds to it. I know the sniff of the, smells like a flower somewhere around here. What's that? I can understand that might make people wonder, what the heck will this taste like? But I'm so adventurous, I'd for sure give it thumbs up, and I think I'd be able to finish that.
Okay. All right. Number 2. Try this one. This one's strawberry white chocolate ganache, hot chocolate with whipped cream and sprinkles, and it is paired with a tri-colored sweet and salty popcorn.
I'm going to say for sure a yay, because I'm more curious than anything. Even though I'm not big on sprinkles and stuff, when years ago I used to wear a mustache, I kind of used to get sprinkles in it. So I used to be kind of like, but no, definitely another one of those. The pairing, Interesting. An interesting choice, but I'd be for sure a yay on it.
Okay. Number 3 is an unforgettable flavor adventure. This is hot honey flavored hot chocolate. It's crafted with a 55% premium dark chocolate. It's infused with just the right kick of heat from fresh jalapeno peppers, topped with house-made honey whipped cream with a signature hot honey drizzle and the perfect harmony of sweet and spicy cream. It's served with 2 mini battered chicken drumstick ice creams, which are coated in crunchy cereal flakes. And you can choose between strawberry coulis drizzle, which mimics the look of the Korean spice sauce, or snow cheese powder for a more savory touch, or hot honey for the perfect sweet and hot combination. It's not real chicken. They're just drumsticks that are ice cream that are shaped like the chicken drumstick.
For sure, a yay. I love the hot drizzle at the end on the drumsticks. That's for sure. I would go with the hot. I would prefer that. I at first did think it was going to be chicken, and it almost just instantly, because I'm not a waffles and chicken person, said, oh no, even though I love chicken, I just have trouble a bit with that. But I probably would be at least adventurous. But for sure, dark chocolate in there. I like the drizzle of the honey because I know that would be around the rim of the cup. So I'm all on that one too.
See, you can see how adventurous people are getting with these different hot chocolate concoctions. In fact, with these 124 venues, some of them open 24 hours a day, it was really hard to just find a classic hot chocolate.
And Amy, I love the classic hot chocolate when I was a kid. I've talked on this program before about having it when I was at the blind school. We'd have Winterfest or come in from hockey, and they'd have the big, huge containers that you could just pump the handle to stiv it, and out would come the hot chocolate, and you'd burn your tongue, the roof of your mouth, everything like that. But you were having a good old time anyway. I remember tobogganing coming in, and my parents would have it. So it's definitely been that milky, creamy, standard thing I've loved with the chocolate all my life. But when you describe some of these, a dark chocolate and honey in the mix, I like them all. I'd be hard pressed. They'd probably say to me, sir, are you going to continue trying these flavors? I'd even be happy to leave the sides alone and just go with the beverages, because there's just something else. Now, my sugar would go right through the ceiling, but who's counting?
No kidding. Yeah. Bring some insulin counting with you.
Exactly.
And on all of the websites where they list all the different hot chocolates on all the different venues, they don't list a price. So that tells you something when they don't list a price.
Yeah, the vacuum cleaner noise would go on probably by my 4th or 5th, and I'd be telling them, would you please stop draining my wallet? But it would be so tempting. Really nice, Ink. Thanks for bringing that and getting us off to a good start. Good way to start the show. We'll finish the show later on with Mary Mammoliti and comfort food. So I think that's a nice, well-rounded way to go. Aim, what else do you have for us? What's going on?
Well, I thought that this was interesting. It's another Vancouver-based thing, but I'm really excited about this. This is the Real Wheels Academy, and I know that you had Adam Grant Warren on about a week ago talking about Phase Room and how you can get involved in building the quiet room, or the putting STEM toys in the quiet space. So Real Wheels has an academy, which is for actors or people who want to train as actors who live with disability or who are deaf and hard of hearing. And this is professional acting training. So this is not like a day program. It's not a come and have fun for a time. This is professional actors training by some of the top professionals in Vancouver. It's a 3-year program, part-time, but it's a 3-year program, and it's fully subsidized, so you don't have to pay for it. And the second cohort, so the first 3-year program, those folks have graduated, and now they're doing an intake for the second 3-year program. So this is really, really exciting for me because I was a part of the initial creation of the first 3-year program when they sat us all in the room as folks with disabilities and actors as part of the Real Wheels family, I guess, and said, what do you want to do as actors? What are the gaps? And it's like, well, you go into an audition room and people think that you're that you're not professional because you may have never done an audition before.
Yes.
So, right. So where are the gaps missing? And it's the training. It's the training. That's why you're not getting the jobs. And so this was made to address the gaps in that training. And so it was a really successful 3-year program. And we learned a lot from that 3-year program, and we've implemented a lot. And one of the things that we've implemented, which I think is excellent, is not just about the acting training, because that's necessary, voice, acting, movement, all of those things, but it's also about how you can create your own work as an actor performer, right? So it's not just about here's a script from, Shakespeare, go and perform it, but also how does Amy create her own work? Because if you're auditioning with against 100 people, you have a 1 in 100 chance. If you know how to create your own work, then that's a whole different thing that can sustain your career. So that's going to be implemented into this 3-year program. So applications are open now, and the 3-year program starts in September and runs to June 2028.
As you know, yesterday we visited with Ryan, a wonderful mouth painter who just had so much to bring to the table. Amy, I think, in my opinion, knowing what we know, and we've talked about this with Kevin Shaw, entrepreneurship is so important for those of us in the disability community because of that plodding along, trying to find work, trying to get into something we might want to get into, and unfortunately, people maybe not understanding, us needing different considerations to be able to do the things that we do. And I know you guys sitting around kind of coming up with the ideas of what should be in a course like this. And this being kind of, I feel, one of the most important parts, because a lot of us do have to carve our way by striking out and maybe doing, when it comes to theater, a one-person show, an artist that, at first does a lot of work on their own, selling enough stuff, and has to work hard to get maybe a chance to get some space in a gallery to sell some of their work, or at least, more importantly, get it showcased, get it advertised. And I think this is that small business, that entrepreneurship that some would say, does that actually have to come with artistry? And yeah, because at all levels, you're selling yourself.
Absolutely. And I think, for some folks that have a lived experience of disability, there's the spoons to think about, right? There's the stamina. So if you're not the type of person who can do an intensive 3 weeks worth of rehearsals, even if they're relaxed rehearsals, and you want to create your own show, and you've decided that you're going to do a longer rehearsal period and only 4 hours a day, you get to do that because you're the creating artist, right? If you've decided that you're only going to paint 2 hours a week, you can do that because you're the artist. So you're in control of how you manage your day and how you manage, how you're going to interact with your art and your art medium in a way that doesn't put on perhaps the same amount of pressure as the industry might if you were accountable perhaps to like another director or another group of folks that were because the industry's full of pressure. Let's just be honest about it.
Yep.
So if anybody who's self-employed and has a disability has a little bit more freedom to customize their day.
As you guys put it together and the considerations that you came up with, and hey, what should be in, I noticed, like you say, 3 years, it's not like you're going for full time. How much flex has been built in or can be built in? Again, taking people's individual circumstances into account. I know there's got to be a limit, but there's also the ask of, hey, I need this. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a customizable program, and people will put in their applications, and they'll go through kind of an audition process. But really, the audition isn't about, air quotes, how good you are. It's really about what are your goals? Why are you interested in this program? Those kinds of questions. And we will, I was the board president. I've now finished my term, so I'm still using the we hat for Real Wills. But it's looking at the goals of what somebody wants to do with the program, and meeting folks at where they're at, right? Because I think that's important, because people are going to enter a program like this at all sorts of different levels of knowledge about acting and art. And how do we meet folks at where they're at so that you're in a room with people, and some people are going to be, if you put it on a scale, for example, of 1 to 100, and you've got some people at 90 and some people at 2, how do you meet the needs of everybody in the space? And so that's how they work to customize that and to identify access needs so that there's as little competing access needs in the spaces as possibly can happen in a space. So it's a big ask, and of course there's always a learning curve with every new cohort because some people don't know each other at all. And there's also that same sort of first day of school thing where you're meeting people who don't know anybody. So there's personalities that you have to, learn to get along with and all of those things as well. So, but that's part of the learning that happened with the first cohort is, okay, what worked and what didn't work and what can we do better at, and what needs do we know how to support and what needs do we not know how to support, and how do we learn how to support, and how do we bring people in to support folks with needs that are something that Real Wheels hasn't traditionally supported in the past. So making sure that we've got the tools, Real Wheels has the tools to do that.
Traditionally tough for people to get into some of the colleges, universities out there for many different reasons. So this is beautiful that it's credited too. It's an accredited course.
It's as low barrier as we could possibly make it, right? With it being totally subsidized for a 3-year program, and still having literally the top people in Vancouver, well-known names. You can find them on any stage in any program to offer acting and voice and movement in these programs. So these folks are getting high quality learning, and that was the whole point, is that you could get high quality learning from a very customizable training program. So we are meeting people where they're at instead of expecting people to meet academia where it's at.
Awesome. Okay, one more thing on your list. Waitress, the Broadway hit musical, is coming to the Manitoba Theatre Centre in Winnipeg on January 29th. Annie, live description. Have you seen this one at all?
I have not. Have you seen this one?
No, I'm not.
Waitress?
I'm not a big musicals person.
I have not seen Waitress, but it is coming to Vancouver too, so I will see it at some point. But I haven't seen it yet, so I'm excited to learn that this is a touring show. Often shows happen in a touring way, so they sort of make their way across Canada to various theaters. So this one, obviously a touring show. Nice. So it's going to happen at 7:30 on the 29th at the John Hirsch main stage. And this is billed as a hilarious and heartfelt Broadway hit musical. And the music and lyrics are done by Grammy Award-winning singer Sarah Bareilles. And so I think it'll be good. It's a waitress, obviously, who finds herself sort of in a job that's what you would call the air quotes dead end job, doing the same thing over and over again. No offense to waitresses, by the way, but even in the title, we wouldn't use the term waitress anymore. It's a bit outdated, right?
Right. Yes.
But finds herself with child and reevaluates what her life needs to be. So how that fits into a hilarious comedy, Kelly, I will tell you once I see it, because it doesn't sound hilarious when you put that into the billing of the play. But I'm excited just to know that there are other theater companies around Canada that are doing relaxed performances, ASL interpreted performances, open captions, and audio described performances. So yay to the Manitoba Theatre Centre.
Yeah, because there's too many, unfortunately. And again, sometimes you understand there's certain levels of, we don't have the finances for that, but there's so much grants, there's so much accessibility out there. Get online and look to the people running these theaters that we know are selling out, bringing big shows. And if you've got the money to do that, surely you've got some money to make some things accessible on your schedule even. And people will flock because they would love to know you're considering them. Amy, as usual, thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
You bet. Amy will be back in a couple of weeks. We'll do a little more art discussions in 2 weeks right here on Kelly and Company. Please join us always on Thursday, every second Thursday when Amy's able to be with us. Let's do a little testing of the environment. Nazreen Abdul-Majid, if you're there, if it's quieter. Yes. Do I hear noise still? No, it's quiet.
Not yet.
Good.
I say not yet.
Good. That's all right.
You never know. Yeah,
Do
you
you
just never know. Living in an apartment, Kelly, you just have to go with their rules, their schedule type thing. If there's a vacuum going on in the background, you have to deal with it, and that's the consequences of working from home, I guess.
before we went to air, it sounded like the most stagnant vacuum cleaner, folks. It just seemed to stay there. But so I thought, oh, maybe it's a fan. Maybe there's a leak or something and they're trying to dry an area. And then it went away. So obviously in that application, it wouldn't happen. So maybe someone's doing work and guess what? Maybe they're gone for lunch, coffee or whatever, or maybe just permanently gone. Nisreen's got her fingers crossed for permanently gone for the day.
I'm hoping so. Yeah, at least wait until after the show.
Yeah, please. All right. Well, obviously, you're going to disappear if that noise comes back. It's a bit obnoxious, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to sneak and see. And for those of you who think, oh, that's wild, I wonder how loud it was. Sorry, no chance to check it out at this point. Thanks, Niz.
Thank you.
Email us, folks, if you want to jump in to see what's happening with us. You got a message, something you want to tell us about, please do it at kellyco@ami.ca. And we have a phone message we're going to play in a while. Not right now. We'll get to it shortly on the show. But if you ever want to give us a ring and say hello, 1-866-509-4545 is how you do it. 1-866-509-4545. Always want you to reach out to us, and we'd love to hear from you and get a chance to interact with you in any way, whether it's online, whether it's on the phone, through an email. And remember, you can check out our content everywhere as well. Sorry, folks, I just had to find my spot here. Holding both a Master of Fine Arts in Performance and a Bachelor of Fine Arts, Vanessa Dion Fletcher is no stranger to the arts. Having exhibited widely across Canada and, of course, internationally, she now has a collaborative public art piece. We have to say welcome to Kelly and Company, Vanessa. Thank you for joining us and hanging around waiting. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Excellent. And boy, I love when my show starts with a bunch of art discussion and things going on. So let's dig in here. Give us some background about yourself and your artistic practice.
Sure. I can start by saying Vanessa. So just saying a few words in my Lenape language, which is I'm glad to see you. My name is Vanessa. Yeah, just a little introduction. I'm coming to you from my studio in Toronto. It's a very active space. We got 4 or 5 artists here working all on our projects. Got some other projects in the background made out of pool noodles. So it's a very exciting space. And I'm just, what can I say? I can say Ni Noli Lindum. I'm happy to be here.
Can I ask you, for our audience, and I know we're not going to move cameras or anything like that, can you look around and is there anything that you could describe that just comes to mind to our audience, to put our mind in that frame of art and creativity?
Yeah, I've got a big sculpture here, and it's pink and purple. And it's actually made out of pool noodles. And the pool noodles are cut into maybe 2-inch chunks. So they're kind of like they're made to look like giant beads, and then they're woven into a diamond shape. This is very commonly used for earrings and using tiny beads. And in this case, I've used that same technique, but made it really big. So it's like a colorful, fun sculpture.
Absolutely wonderful. Beautiful description too, and bringing us closer to kind of what you do. So tell us a little bit about the art, the practice that you have, and if you would, how you really got into it. I think it's wonderful. We're getting that chance to speak to you from your studio where others are working away as well.
Yeah, so I have always loved art. It's always been the kind of my happiest place. It's always been the best way that I can communicate with people. And I would say that when I was in school, that was a time when I was getting diagnosed with my learning disability, and I was really struggling academically and socially. And art was kind of a space where I didn't feel disabled, where I could really express myself and interact with my peers. And so I've taken that into my adult life and into my profession. And I really connected with what you were saying earlier about entrepreneurship and kind of carving your own way. And yeah, it's definitely been an aspect of my career, and just trying to find and make those opportunities. And yeah, it's really great when we can have some of that control over our schedules and how we're working.
Thank you so much for the openness. I'm going to take you back into high school. When you talk about communication, people understanding, I know from life experience of my own, there's sometimes that light bulb moment where people notice you. And a lot of us go through school assimilating, doing what we do. Maybe some will feel, no one knows how to kind of to get me, to take me. I'm wondering if that's kind of some of what you're referring to with the communication. And when the art discovery came, did people stop, ask questions, notice? What did it feel like? I mean, when I was in college, I went and did a fundraiser stand-up comedy night, a stand-up comedy at one point in my life I was kind of interested in, and it got publicized, and all of a sudden I found out that a bunch of my broadcast school classmates were planning, almost the whole class, to go to the comedy club and take the show in. I was surprised, but some of them shared with me, not as surprised as they were that I was even doing it. They saw me just as, hey, this guy in class, even though we were in broadcast school. That wasn't something they thought about. The art portion, and art for so many of us, I've been told, kind of really speaks for us, really opens a door in a communications way for everyone around us because of the expression.
Mm-hmm. I think the expression. So for me, not having to write about something or not having to talk about something, getting to understand myself and the world around me through the visual and through the tactile, really, yeah, had the greatest joy and the greatest impact.
Wonderful. Wow. It's just always fascinating to me because so many of us come up with, that the difference in those moments. And I think they're just so wonderful to share with people if we're comfortable to. Thank you. Can you describe for us what Resonant Harmony looks like and what kind of space is it going to be in?
Yeah, so it's already been installed. It's at the Miskin Law Community Complex in Peterborough. It's an amazing space. There's 2 skating rinks. There's a library that's going to open shortly, and really a multi-purpose building. And I was invited to put forward an application for a public art piece. And for that work, in a lot of my work, I would use geometric shapes. So before I was talking about the diamond shapes, for Resonant Harmony, I used ovals and circles. So there's 3 ovals, and they're all painted in red, yellow, and blue colors. And they're not perfect circles. So when one is looking at them or walking around them, there's a kind of shift in your perspective and like what parts of the colors catch your eye. They're made out of steel, that the steel is painted. So they kind of have a sense of weight and heaviness. That, yeah, if you're just approaching and going into the building, maybe to go skating or to the library, you might not kind of know that they're steel right away.
How big is it?
The one ring is, I'm going to say, about 6 feet by 3 feet. The second one is 6 feet by 3 feet. The second one is maybe 4 feet by 5 feet, and then the third one is like a small little accent one that is 3 feet around.
Okay. So inspiration. What did you see when you applied to say, you know what, I'm applying to do this? How does that process work? But when you get to where you share with anyone what your plan is to do, the questions that get asked, how is that whole process? Or do you get accepted based on your other work and they say, be creative, go to work? How much explanation and talking about your inspiration did you give?
It's complicated and kind of intimidating process.
I can imagine.
There's usually a call for qualifications is the first step. So you put together a kind of resume and examples of your work, and that's the kind of step where you're saying like, hey, do you believe in me? Could I do this? Am I qualified enough? And then the step after that is putting together an idea, and then it's presented to a committee. And the committee is made up of community members, and they look at all of the applications and choose one. I was so honored to be chosen. The city asked that the artwork relate to sport. And because of the skating and the walking track, they wanted it to relate to the idea of sport. So to get inspired about sport, I don't think of myself really as a sporty person. So when I was trying to find ways, I was like, okay, what are ways that I, even though I don't, play on any teams, I think of myself as sporty or active, but I ride a bike, I walk, and when I was younger, I did a lot of canoeing, and so I thought there are ways that I do have, movement and activity in my life. And so then I liked that idea of openness, right? That movement and sport can be different for everyone. And I think in terms of activity, it's really, I say it's a conversation between oneself and, in an Indigenous sense, we would say the creator. So that's kind of getting into maybe a spiritual aspect. And I think in my experience of sport, it's that idea of challenging yourself and whatever your abilities are, that you're challenging and growing and having that change that can be really profound.
Is it scary when you're asked, you apply, and okay, I mean, obviously, if you're asked to, or if you see something and apply, there's that opportunity for them to say no, after you've shown portfolio. And then you got that other spot where, what's your idea? You've moved on to the next step, and that might not grab them either. Do you find it pretty tough sometimes, or how do you kind of put that in a box and say, you know what, that doesn't have anything to do with my quality, my work, who I am, or anything like that? But sometimes, especially if you really want to do a project because it sounds so cool, that's got to be heartbreaking.
Yeah, it can be really emotional, right? That emotional journey of, especially for me, and I think a lot of artists, it's hard to navigate that line between your professional life, right? And this is a job, and I'm putting this idea forward, and then you have to recognize that if it's not accepted, it's not personal. I grew and did a good job in putting myself out there. So it's quite challenging in that sense. And I would say there's the disappointment if you're not accepted. And then there's the excitement and also nerves if the project is accepted. And then
yes,
take on this new challenge.
Yeah, it can work on you on both ways. What was the most challenging, before we let you go, what was the most challenging for you in doing the piece? As you said, challenge oneself.
Yeah, I would say I have to thank Matthew Walker. So he was a fabricator. So he helped me like with ordering the materials and doing some of the design work. So it's really nice to have, members on your team. And then one of the most challenging parts was working on a bigger project, collaborating with Matt on making it. And then we had to also work with the city and then the architects and the builders. So there's a lot of people involved in getting something, permanent into a building. You gotta meet with an engineer to get it all approved, make sure it's safe. It was challenging to organize all of that side of the project.
Wow. I don't think many of us think about how many people, when it comes to something like this, even just in consulting with the people you're working with to kind of get that design, get what you imagine, what you want to create up there and in place and ready to go the way you want it. And that collaboration you do with other artists, with the engineers, people in this case, and public. Vanessa, tremendous. Tell people again where they can go and look at your work.
It's the Miss Kinlaw Community Arts Center in Peterborough, Ontario. And Ashik, thank you.
Thank you so much for the time and sharing so much and the openness. Vanessa, really appreciate you sharing the time and offering us that invitation to see what's in our own hearts and spirits through Resonant Harmony, celebrated Indigenous artist Vanessa Dion Fletcher joining us on the program. Of course, you can follow her on Instagram at VDionF. That is, once again, at VDIONF. Really wonderful conversation. I love them. Let's welcome back Nazreen to join us for just a moment here. Really tremendous conversation. And as I just love everyone's different perspective. And you could hear in the background others working away to it, doing their thing.
Yeah. So motivational, inspirational. And I've never been much of an artist myself. So their work really is amazing. And I've seen the sculpture that she showed on screen. It's remarkable.
Yeah. Tremendous. That is great. Her description was wonderful. We're going to swing over to hearing from another artist, from friend of the show who listens regularly and has for a long time, Philip Bouchard.
Hello to all of you from AMI. I just wanted to tell you about my experience when I've participated in the contest of the Danny Awards 2024. I've been chosen at the top 10 for my original song, All Over the World. What is so incredible with the Daniels Music Foundation down at New York, awesome experience it's really been. All of these other participants were as talented as me. I was the first Canadian ever to have participated in these Danny Awards. I have first Canadian to have won a trophy. Whew, it's been a really awesome show, and we had some music workshops, company labels, and agents, managers, the show business and all. And we also had some really great encounters, with some really great producers anywhere around the world. And that includes the U.S. as well, and Canada, which is me. It's been so great, and so humble to the Daniels Music Foundation. I'm so thankful to Carla and her gang. I just wanted to talk to you about that, Kelly. See you all later, guys. Happy New Year's once again to the Kelly and Company listeners. Hope you can take this message live on radio as well, if you want.
Phil, also wonderful to hear from him. Yes, Happy New Year back. And he had dropped us some messages letting us know before Christmas what's been going on. And this was our first chance. And nice to hear him. Fedora's off to you. Congratulations being the first. Yeah. But just overall, the experience just sounds tremendous. He has been checking out the show, Niz, for years. He has reached out to us. And it's nice when you you kind of get to know somebody and see the progress, and things like this recognition for him come to be. So glad he keeps us in mind. Glad he still finds some time to check out our show, and keeping himself busy and quite successful. So also want to welcome in somebody very successful who joins us on Thursdays. Mary Mammoliti joins us. Mary, welcome. How are you?
It's so good to be here with you both.
It's kind of interesting. Thank you. Good. Glad to hear it, because it seems like you bring pizza out somehow in us. Last week, Cheez-Its with pizza flavor. Okay. All right. This week, this course from MSN.
Iffy.
Yeah, this one. Well, I want to see on the feel on this one in a moment. This is from their food and wine department. General Mills reveals for us a snack you did not see coming. This is by Stacey Leeson. Earlier this week, General Mills revealed that it's bringing together two flavors and two things that you may not have ever thought they'd put together. A one-winning combination, which it's cinnamon toast crunch pizza. No, this isn't a pizza you actually put in the oven. Instead, it's pizza-flavored cinnamon toast crunch cereal. Now, I mean, this is kind of special to them. That's what they feel. This pizza-flavored cereal was a match made in mashup heaven, Mary. There's one for you. And there's some bold flavor here with this, of course, featuring the irresistible cinnamon from Cinnamon Toast Crunch, paired with the savory pizza taste that you know and love from Tortina pizza rolls, served up in a pizza delivered inspired pizza box. Okay, so there you go with that one for the optimum experience. The company said in a statement shared, it's a little unclear how this mashup should be served. I was thinking pour milk. It'll be well, okay, I'll get to that in a second. But I was thinking it's going to be a lot like cut up pizza crust floating around in pizza, but I'm sure they don't want us to think about it. The package shows a typical bowl of cereal with milk, but with the additional pizza flavoring, it might be better off all on its own as a snack for.
Okay, I'm sorry, I have to chime in. I would absolutely eat that.
You would try cinnamon dust, cinnamon toast crunch combined with pizza cereal.
Taste.
Okay, wait, I would try it. I would try, because remember, I always said I would try something once.
You're stuck on that. You're stuck on that.
But now I feel like I'm a liar now.
No, I think for me.
Well, I'm not sure. Is their nose growing? Yeah, okay, you're a liar.
I think for me, it's more of that milk situation. Adding milk to pizza, anything, just gives me that ick. So I think I would do it if I were to eat it dry, more like that in replace of that popcorn kind of thing. You just kind of pop it like popcorn. I would try it that way.
I wonder how the person out there who says cheese is dairy, it's the same thing, and we all know better than that.
Yeah, no.
I feel like you guys, the milk is weird on its own, but when you're
eat it on its own?
Pizza and cinnamon toast crunch, like that's a very sweet cereal. So to combine that with the pizza flavor is just bizarre to me.
I'm trying to think, Mary, do we do anything like that? Make pizza with anything sweet at all, or something or do we drink it with stuff that's sweet? I mean, if you have chicken wings, you might have a sweet kind of sauce that gets on
that hot honey kind of, you think of it, right? The hot honey. But for me, I think it's more of, right, I think they would kind of do less of the cinnamon, so it's not as forward as it is right now in the cereal, and probably do less of that, mix it in with, because you do mix cinnamon into other spices when you're doing, let's say maybe it's like a blackened seasoning or something. It has that little bit of spice or something in it, or that cinnamon kind of flavor. So I don't think it's going to be that, cinnamon forward. But the whole milk thing, that, I mean, A+ for the packaging for me. Right? That's cute. It's the pizza box thing. Yeah. Nice. I think this, for me, this mashup it's great for those snack rebels that are out there that want to try something that's unexpected, that's unpredictable. That's where I think this is going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's where I think this one's going.
So we got an approval sort of from Mary. She would try it at least. Jordan would try it. Okay.
He said for sure. Kelly, Jordan, how would you eat it? How would you eat it? With milk or without?
Just as they intended. Give it to me
Oh.
just the way it
Oh.
is. I gotta try it.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Wow.
I believe I would do it dry. I have to think of it almost like, when you get those Cinna things or whatever, if you go to Pizza Hut, their buffet or whatever, like kind of crusty, crispy with pizza taste and a little more cinnamon to it. I'd have to have, because I don't know what pizza, I'm going to assume it's cheese and pepperoni kind of, it would be the dominant, not onion or stuff like that. It's something you could actually say, hey man, that is pizza taste. And I think that's got to be the way people eat pizza these days, with either just cheese and crust or cheese and pepperoni and crust.
There's also
I definitely say
spices that
dry.
they put on it, right? Because you put on pizza, they'll put oregano.
Yeah.
They'll put, there is that kind of oniony.
But you wouldn't, I don't think
Yeah.
you'd do that with this, because there's too many pizzas that people just don't like, but there's always the base that is everyone's favorite, that pepperoni and cheese.
Have you
Well,
ever
it's
tried
definitely
the
a conversation
pizza flavored crackers? I think that
The ones we
is
had
nice.
last week. That we
It
talked-
has-
yeah.
yeah. So I feel
But I
like it's
think-
a nice combination.
I think anything flavored with cheese, I'm more into, even if it was a sweeter kind of thing. Like, I think cheese, because we accept there's bacon, maple cheese, and stuff like that. So you're going to be a little more about it. Cool,
See,
ladies.
that's hard for me. Powdered cheese is hard for me. It's hard for me to even wrap my head around powdered cheese.
What is that? It's some kind of chemical creation, right? That's kind of the way you
there's
feel.
some nonna kind of turning in her grave when she's thinking of powdered cheese.
All right. Thanks, guys. That's wonderful. It's just so ironic. We had a couple of things 2 weeks in a row, pizza-based flavored stuff. So I'm kind of anxious to see if this is a big seller, especially for Super Bowl coming on. Ladies and gentlemen, YouTube, great place to find some of our content. Check us out. If you wouldn't mind to subscribe to our YouTube page, then settle back and enjoy the content. Lots more coming your way. Remember to check out our podcast from your platform of choice. Maybe while you're in there, if you don't mind, give us a rating and review.
And what's the warmest spot in your home, wherever the food is, I guess? You heard her, Chef Mary Mammoliti is here to share quick, cozy, comfort food ideas to keep you toasty and happy and just snuggle up all day long and eat whatever you want. So Mary, it's freezing outside, no doubt about it. What's the first thing you crave to warm you up?
Okay, so me personally, for me, it's a hot bowl of chicken soup. But I do it where it's a little spiced up. So I grate in a little fresh ginger, a little fresh turmeric. Instead of the noodles, use a little bit of couscous, switch out the stock for bone broth, which is always really nice. It's comforting. You get those nutrients from the bone broth. You get a lot of those anti-inflammatory properties, or is what they report. Me, it's all about ease on the joints. Am I sounding like I'm 90 years old? Yes.
Or sick.
But it's all good, right? And it was interesting because I actually polled this. I polled this question, your favorite comfort foods, on Instagram. And everyone's responses, aside from it making me extremely hungry, it was interesting, right? So here's what I discovered. When it comes to comfort food, the common denominator are foods that remind us of what else? Home, right? We want something comforting, and home is comfort. So they're the dishes that bring like that sense of joy to us. And for most people, joy equals carbs, equals fried foods. So a lot of the responses were dishes like poutine. And I know I'm saying that incorrectly, but I can't say it the other way. Shepherd's pie, wings.
What? Hold on. It's like Mary hesitated,
Wait,
waiting
what's
for
the other
Niz or
way?
Kelly to say poutine.
That's it.
No
That's
way. People call it poutine.
Yeah,
I
that's the
cannot
proper.
say it.
I've never heard
And
of
I'm
that
sure
in my
somebody-
life. I always
somebody
called
out
it
there-
poutine.
Somebody out there's telling me I'm not quite saying it right. And if you said to them, okay, how am I supposed to say it? Poutine. What? All right. To me, it will sound the same, but I'm trying, folks. I'm trying to get as close, but I believe poutine.
Yes.
Okay, Mary.
See, that's perfect because when I say it, it sounds like a bad word.
So don't
I
do
can't-
that. We'll go back to
No,
Niz's
so I don't
poutine.
say it.
We'll go back to Niz's poutine.
Say it.
Yeah.
Poutine. A lot of people were talking about shepherd's pie, wings,
Why?
spaghetti, pizza, taco
Yes.
salad, soups, right?
Yep.
But what was interesting was the soups. It wasn't a vegetable soup. they all had some sort of noodle, some rice in them. There's that carb factor. So to me, it's not just about the taste, it's about the memories that people associate with comfort food. There's memories, there's people that are tied to it, stories that are tied to it. Honestly, and it's that sense of safety, happiness is what we all think of when we think of comfort foods.
Yeah.
So that was interesting to me what came out. Lots of carbs, lots and lots of carbs.
And soup.
Yeah.
Soup, yes.
And yeah, you can never go wrong with soup. I know some soup haters, but I feel like you can never go wrong with soup. And you can be so creative with certain types of soups.
How much of this is in our head? Like, sticking to the ribs, that kind of thing, pasta, the fried food, the soups, because of that comfort. Like you said, Mary, and I guess that's the point. It's that comfort stuff that we believe and therefore go with when it comes to this. So, yeah, I truly, truly believe in that. Go ahead, Nis.
I think a lot of it relies around or revolves around texture.
Yeah.
Well, I certainly voted for wings on your poll question, and I got so excited and I craved it so bad that I ended up getting yesterday. And and this game,
I did the same. When you did that, when you responded, I absolutely added it to my cart. Wings.
Yeah, I can never get bored of wings. I can eat it every single day. That's what makes me think of a comfort food. It's something that I can never get tired of, and it's just cozy. But yeah, it's cold, as I said. No one wants to head outside. I know I didn't yesterday. So what can we do with what we have at home already?
That's a perfect question. It's great because start with pantry powerhouses. So load up your pantry with these things over the winter. Things like canned beans, pasta, frozen veggies it's not pantry, but in the freezer, but you have it there. They've been transformed into those soul-warming soups and stews that bring all that comfort with very little effort because a lot of them can be made in one pot, which is perfect. So I would definitely shop your pantry. Keep it stocked. Definitely do that.
I like that. Yeah, I'm not a big soup person, but there's so many cool things in there that are good. Now, what about the trending food that people have been really going on, especially when we talk about things like whip feta dip, things like that, Mayor?
Yeah. And that's exactly what I was going to talk about because over the holidays, honestly, the first thing that comes to mind are dips. Dips were everywhere. And I know people who love dips as a dinner, as a meal. Yeah. This is one that's definitely was buzzing all over social media, which was feta dip. So you serve it warm with a little bit of crusty bread. It's like this cozy comfort blanket. It just brightens up everything. It's literally feta, that block of feta, Greek yogurt, lemon juice, a little bit of spices, a little bit of olive oil, whip that up, you're done, and then just dip. It is so good.
Sounds so good.
Oh, it sounds really good.
The crust with the dip, that's what I'm thinking about. That's what's engraved in my mind right now.
Crunchy.
Yeah. Dip some of the cereal, the pizza cereal in it.
Yeah. And then even what to cook to some of the cereals. My mind was already, what am I going to make for dinner?
Took care of that.
I can just say, Frank, here's a bowl of cereal. Here's a slice of pizza. Go at it. But what to cook this week? I got a couple of ideas. Okay. So my pick would be some creamy chicken and wild rice soup. It's rich, it's hearty, it checks all those comfort food boxes. And then again, bonus, it's all done in one pot. So there's less cleanup. It's nice and quick. Another one is grilled cheese. Rice? Wild rice, it's a combination of different types of rices in one pack. So you'll have long grain, short, brown, different types, all in one.
I imagine that's pretty hard to cook because, there's different, each rice
I just second guessed myself. Wild rice is a different type of rice. I stand corrected.
Oh, okay.
So, I was just thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's because me, that's what I do. It's wild rice. Whatever rice I have left in the pantry, mix it all together. We're cooking it up.
There you go. Love that.
But honestly, that's one thing. But another thing I thought of was grilled cheese. No one was thinking about grilled cheese. I'm surprised I did not get one grilled cheese answer for comfort food. But I got a little quick tip for that. If we have a minute, You know when you do your grilled cheese and it's nice and crispy, you get that little crunch factor on the outside, but the minute you take it off that pan, put it onto the plate, you get that little kind of soggy mess happening underneath it because that condensation that happens. Yeah, because it steams onto the plate and it just softens everything up. So you lose that crunch. I suggest get yourself a little rack. So if you have like a cookie cooling rack, a little wire rack, put it to the side, put your sandwich onto that. Right when it comes off the stovetop, put it, or wherever you're grilling your grilled cheese, put it onto that wire rack. Let it cool just a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. And it'll even settle in that cheese. So you get that gooey and not spilling out factor. It's a little step, but it makes a huge difference.
Man,
I love grilled cheese.
I like the cheese that gets burned kind of if you overdo it and it's just sort of stuck. I love that. From flipping it over, scorches it up.
Crispy
Beautiful. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you.
And stay warm and keep cooking up comfort food for us. Thanks for joining us, Mary.
Thank you.
Folks, we're going to step aside for about a day. We'll be back tomorrow for the Friday edition of the program. Mary, Nazreen, everybody, thank you for being with us. And you out there, especially folks. Tetris is making its way to Quebec. Utilizing volunteers, Tetra builds innovative solutions for people with physical disabilities to overcome environmental barriers, providing greater independence, quality of life, and inclusion, folks. We have all the details on our Friday show. Please be with us. Fedora's off to you. Good day.
Thanks for tuning in to Kelly and Company. Follow us on all social media. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more.